All right, you're welcome back once again on AM Cafe on OSBC TV. Just like I said the other time, now it is time for me to let the cat out of the bag. Yes, the second segment of the AM Cafe, we're going to be talking about what the federal government has dished out, talking about sending words to state governors, about 31 state governors. I'm talking about flooding that will happen from now till November, and it's a kind of warnings to all these state governors and some local governments that this flooding will affect. Yes, I have someone in the studio that will be doing justice to some of the questions that we'll be asking related to flooding and how we can curb this, not only in Osun State, but how we can curb it as well in Nigeria, because it has become a reoccurrent thing. Every year we experience it, and we go over and over again with this. Yes, my guest on this wonderful morning is Senatorian Ola Olufemi. He is the president of the Environmental Health Officer Association in Osun State. You're welcome, Senator Ola.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, the monitor. Good morning, everyone. Yeah.
Good morning, and it's nice to have you on the program today. All right, let's talk about this recent, happenings where they have the federal government had to send, a warning letter to about 31 governors, Osun inclusive, because I went through all the states that might be affected, and Osun is there. What is your own take on this?
Yeah, it's a good thing that we have the notice in good time. Just like you said, it's a kind of reoccurring. It's not new to us when it's in the beginning of the year like this. We expect what the meteorologists will say, what signal they will give to us to be able to plan very well. Proper parallel planning prevent poor performance. So when we plan very well, early in the morning like this, early in the year like this, it will actually prevent, poor performance. It will prevent danger. It will prevent, bad incidents. So it's a good thing that the federal government has come up through the Minister for Water Resources to, notify the 31 states of what's likely to be the happenings. And then that is just like we said, it's always good to ginger us, propel us to do what is needful. And I think it's behooved on every one of us. Government has its parts, individual, corporate bodies, everyone should take responsibility.
Talking about responsibility now. Now let's look at the factors that really contributing to the increased risk in flooding, especially in Nigeria. We'll streamline it to some extent to Osun State, but to Nigeria at large.
Yeah, I think just like with the other time I said, power planning prevent poor performance. I think the government of Nigeria has not done enough in the aspect of planning. See, the aspect, and it's just a kind of it's a repeated issue
all over and over again.
It's not even on this matter alone. It's cut across
all sectors.
We like fire brigade approach of many things. So, because I know developed countries, they will have had long-term plan, to forestall this kind of occurrence. But in a black nation like Nigeria, I think the government is not actually doing enough, when it comes to, nation Nigeria. The government has a lot to do to ensure that they have proper planning. Be that as it may, we cannot stop rain from falling. And I want to believe that we also contributed to amount of water that drop, because human error is always there, and the amount of carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and so on, all those compounds that we release to the air also amount to what we call global warming and climate change. And the eventuality is most of the times we have excess heat, and by implication we also have excess water, because what the dry season, I don't know, people used to say that what the dry season, I mean, I don't know, it's best said in Yoruba.
All right.
Say Yoruba she ojo abere. Okay, that whatever happens during the dry season, we have the effect.
The ripple effect.
The ripple effect during the
rainy season.
So you see, I want to believe that it also affects the amount of water that come out from heaven. And then also human error as regard how we treat our environment, because just like computer, it's what we put into the computer that we give back to us. So our environment is just like that. Our people, they are so recalcitrant. We know what is right, but we don't do it. So we expect the government to do everything for us. How many households actually has method of proper disposal? How many households? Because proper disposal we involve spending money. Okay, if we must achieve that, we will spend money, and individually, maybe because the level of impoverishment in Nigeria actually contributed to people not wanting to key into government arrangement. Because if actually every household is involved in engaging PSP, people who can help us clean up our house, who can help us pick all our refuse and dump it at the right place, I think to go a long way to forestall just dumping refuse on the drainages, public drainages, waterways, and so on and so forth. Because one of the major reason why we have flood, flood is normal, it's just a normal phenomenon, it will occur, but it won't affect us if we actually do what is right by engaging the PSP, dropping of our refuse in a proper manner. Then for construction, there is always development, and we are praying for development anyway. And one of our directors just left here to discuss the very powerful work that our governor is doing when it comes to construction of road at Fair, road garage, and what have you. See, there must be development, but when we have development, there is always a cost for any development. So
a price to pay.
There must be a price to pay. There must be a price to pay. For instance, in Osogbo now, with people converge together, being the capital, we have the population just explode. Then there is every tendency that the water part will be affected. Some people will want to do fishery, some people will want to do construction. They will just put their sand, gravel on the water part, and then some people will want to make some sales. They will block drainage and market places, blockage here and there. So it's just part of the development that we are talking about. Construction of road, construction of buildings, and so on and so forth. All these ones will, little things that we think they do not matter, they will end up becoming matters arising. So it's just one of those things that actually contributing to occurrence of flooding year in, year out. And for instance, some of us that in most cases, Nigeria, we have become the government of ourselves. Government, we don't expect government to do everything for us. Like in a community, we talk about community effort. In the community, we have to assist, in making sure that we have drainage in front of every individual household. There must be drainage. It's supposed to be the government that will do these things, but we don't expect government to do everything anyway. So where I live at Tatalja there, we are making very frantic effort to ensure that every household have drainage, proper drainage system. When we have proper drainage system that actually can channel water into the public drain, that we also take it to normal place, then I think it will reduce drastically. It will reduce the amount of water that will be in the environment drastically. So these little things will help us along the way. And I think it's another thing that we believe that water do grow. I mean, stream, spring, and so on and so forth. Just like human beings, some of them grow. It's just natural. We have, you see a water part, maybe a stream or a spring, that you'll be wondering that 10 years ago, it wasn't like this. It has grown. It has grown up. The amount of water has actually increased. And you have some that we say, what actually caused this water part to just dry? Okay, so that's to tell you that that water has died already. So normally we have growth in water part. Okay, whenever we have to prepare for all this, and that is why sometime when government has already done the drainage system, there is need to expand where necessary, because the water is expanding too. So there are people that are saddled with this assignment. When you see that water is actually growing, the volume of water is increasing year in, year out, there is need for government to expand such part, the part of water part, to ensure that it accommodates the growth of the water at that particular point in place. So these are the things, little things that if put together will actually help us to forestall, destruction of lives and property. If we actually see how flooding has actually affected us in the area of economics, in the area of even life, you see, life of human beings and animals, aquatic animals, plants, what we grow to eat, all those things, you will see that it's always very good to plan ahead of occurrence.
All right. You said something the other time when we started this conversation, and you talked about waste disposal. I think that is, to some extent, your area, or specialty. Looking at buildings, properties in not only in Osun State, all over Nigeria. Now, I have seen very well, especially during the rainy season, that I was like, wow, is this really happening? Now, when the rain is falling and it's heavy, you see people coming outside from their homes and just throwing waste into the waters, into the gutters, so that the rain will just take the refuse to wherever. And when that place gets blocked, and that's where the flooding starts. Now, my question now is, as a sanitarian, what are you doing to make sure that every household in Osun State has this waste disposal very close to their building, so that we'll make sure that because there are sometimes where you just say, okay, well, if you like, have it. If you like, don't have it. People would not do it. So what measure are you taking to make sure that every household in Osun State has this waste disposal, so that we won't start experiencing the flood and we won't be talking about this same thing every now and then?
Yeah, thank you, moderator. Actually, just like I said, it's very important for everyone to know what is good. Even the Bible, and I'm sure the Quran
talks about
it, that whoever knows what is right and does not do it, it's a sin. When you know what is right and you don't do it, it's a sin. And that is why we have law of the land that can catch up with such individual. But in most cases, the law, catching up with such individual is not always the best. I think we should, and that is the essence of sensitization. And that's why I must give it to Osbc TV and the radio stations. They are doing a lot, to ensure that our people are being educated, our people are being sensitized, and that are actually, made you people to invite people like me to programs like this. So I think it's a way of educating the masses, the populace, to know what is right to do. Sincerely, everybody knows what is right, except we want to deceive ourselves. We all know that it's always good to have reviews in our household. It's not always good that we expect environmental officers. We're still going to talk about some of our challenges we have as a body, as an association, because our number is building on a daily basis. We are retiring, people are not being engaged. There is no replacement every day, almost every day. In fact, if I mention to you the number of environmental officers that we have in each of the councils, you will just be wondering how are we coping with the quantum of job at hand, because we have enormous job at hand as environmental officers. We are not limited to the issue of waste management alone. We also go into the food hygiene. We go to water sanitation. We go to other things, school inspection, school, all those activities so enormous that they are in. So like I was saying, we should, every household should see it as a responsibility that we should have revis bin. We have some houses, it will baffle you, that we have some houses that do have this revis bin, and they do not make use of it. Landlord individuals, directors, deputy directors, people who
of high repute.
You see them dropping revis on the roadside when they are going to office. Some of them just drop it inside waterways. I have caught someone who was going to Abere for work in the morning. Sometimes late last year, he was going. He just, together with his wife and children, people wanted to drop his children at school and go to office. It was when I now caught him that he told me everything. I realized that he was someone who of high repute, going to work at Abere. He just parked by the roadside and dropped revis in Osun River. Along Eboluwa, International School. You can imagine. Can we say such individual does not know what is right? But we find it difficult to part away with little amount of money for PSP to come and take our revis. I can understand we have some towns and villages that the activity of PSP does not actually get to. But what of the metropolis? We should be, for instance, Ede, and so on and so forth. So we should key into the government plan that
before we go, Ejeka Yono but I think so, Ede no Ede Yoruba. Ọ̀rọ̀ omíyalé àgbàrá ya ṣọ́ọ̀bù tó fẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ tí ìjọba àpapọ̀ ti ṣàkíyèsí àwọn ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ lé lórí, kí ìhà olè yín kọ sí?
Wọ́n ní ogun àwí tẹ́lẹ̀ ní kì í parọ́ tó bá dẹ̀ mọ́ ni. Pé wọ́n àti ìrìnyàn sọ fún wa gan, ó jẹ́ nǹkan tó jẹ́ ìwúrí. Pé ìjọba wa ti bá débi wípé wọ́n lè mọ bí ojú ọjọ́ ṣe rí ní àwọn àkókò kan. Tí wọ́n bá dẹ̀ sọ fún wa, nítorí sọ náà ni pé kí agbára dì. Wọn ò tí ì sọ wípé yóò pààyàn. Wọn ò tí ì sọ wípé yóò wó ilé. Wọn ò tí ì sọ pé yóò kó dúkìá wa. Wọ́n ní òjò ó pọ̀ ni wọ́n sọ. Oníjọba sọ àti àwọn tí wọ́n wà ní ìgbàgbọ́. Tí wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ fún wa pé òjò máa pọ̀, káwa náà wá gbára dì gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà àti gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ àti ìpínlẹ̀. A gbọ́dọ̀ rí wípé a gbáradì láti rí wípé a ní ìdojúkọ omíyalé àgbàrá ya ṣọ́ọ̀bù. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọlọ́dàn náà, àwa náà ní nǹkan láti ṣe gẹ́gẹ́ bí ènìyàn tí ilé-jilé láti rí pé a níbi tí a ń dalẹ̀ sí, tá ń kólẹ̀ wa pamọ́ sí, kí a sì gba iye àwọn tí wọ́n máa ń bá wa kólẹ̀ tá máa fún ní owó tásárẹ́ lóṣooṣù, ká gbà wọ́n ká máa bá wa kó àwọn ènìyàn, ká rí pé a kó àwọn ìdọ̀tí tójò bá rọ̀, ká rí pé a kó sínú gọ́tà ibi tí omi ń gbà ojútó omi, ká rí pé a kó ìdọ̀tí síbẹ̀, ká sì rí pé àwa tá ń ṣiṣẹ́ ilé a kó yanrìn kó gravel sí ibi tí omi ó gbà. Àwa tá a fẹ́ ṣe odò ẹja, ẹ má jà lo ibi tí omi ń gbà láti ṣe odò, a lè ṣe odò ẹja wa sẹ́yìn kùlé wa. Àwọn nǹkan yìí tá a bá kó jọ mọ́ra wọn yóò ràn wá lọ́wọ́ láti dẹ́kun omíyalé ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun.
Well, a word is enough for the wise, just like sanitarian Ola Olufemi has said. We should just take all these things to notice so that we won't experience flooding, especially in Osun State and by extension Nigeria. All right, that's how far we can go on AM Cafe this morning. I hope you've enjoyed my two guests talking about the road closure and the diversion, and also what the federal government is saying about the flooding that may come starting from this month to the month of November. All right, that's how far we can go on AM Cafe this morning. My name is David Ojo, and the next is sports.